This is Esperanza, and this is her story. The year is 1930 in Mexico. Esperanza lives on a large ranch with her mama and papa. Her father tells her the land is alive, that the whole valley lives and breathes. He shows her how to listen to the earth's heartbeat. She must be patient, but if she listens close, she can hear it.
Today is the first day of the harvest. The farm workers have gathered for the celebration that marks this joyous occasion. The picking of the first fruit is usually reserved for the oldest son of the wealthy rancher, but since Esperanza is an only child and Papa's pride and glory, she is always given the honor.
As she picks the first fruit, she thinks about her birthday, which is in just 3 weeks after the harvest. Like every other year, Mama and Papa will host a fiesta for the harvest and for her birthday. And as everyone cheers for the beginning of the harvest, she thinks of the bouquets of roses and baskets of fruit that will be on every table.
Marisol Rodriguez is Esperanza's best friend. When they are together, they talk about one thing, their quinceañeras. After their quinceañeras, they will be old enough to be courted, marry, and become las patronas, the heads of their household. Esperanza prefers to think, though, that she and her someday husband will live with Mama and Papa forever because she cannot imagine living anywhere other than El Rancho de las Rosas or with any fewer servants or beautiful dresses. Now the harvest is over and everyone anticipates the celebration. Esperanza gathers berries from Papa's garden. She wonders where Papa is. He's running late. He left early that morning with the vaqueros to work the cattle. As she daydreams, Esperanza suddenly pricks her finger on a thorn. Bad luck, she thinks, but she knows that's just an old superstition. Still, she can't help but wonder why Papa isn't home dusty from the mesquite grasslands and stamping his feet on the patio to get rid of the crusty dirt on his boots.
This is Abuelita, Esperanza's grandmother. When Abuelita walks into a room, everyone scrambles to make her comfortable. Even Papa gives up his chair for her. Esperanza sits next to her grandmother, smelling her aroma of garlic, face powder, and peppermint. She wonders why Abuelita always knits to take her mind off worry, and why, no matter how she tries, Esperanza can't seem to get the stitches right.
As she works on her knitting, Esperanza's mind wanders to thoughts of her upcoming birthday. She knows that she will wake up to find her Papa and his fans singing outside her window. She would happily listen to the birthday song and then race downstairs to open gifts. She knew there would be a beautiful doll from Papa.
But that isn't until tomorrow. Today, she passes the time eating with Abuelita and playing with Miguel. Miguel is the son of Alfonso, Papa's favorite field worker, and Hortensia, the housekeeper. Miguel and Esperanza have grown up together. Esperanza used to dream of marrying Miguel, but now she knows that wouldn't be proper. As Miguel always says, in Mexico, we stand on different sides of the river. Suddenly, 2 men are approaching. It is Tio Luis and Tio Marco. They are Papa's older stepbrothers. Today, they will bring bad news.
Papa and his vaqueros had been ambushed and killed. The bandits had stole their boots, saddles, and horses. They even took the beef jerky that Papa had hidden in his pockets for Esperanza. Esperanza is devastated. She didn't sleep well last night with the loss of her Papa. Why did this happen? The Mexican Revolution is over and there should be no more killing. But everyone's against the large landowners. Don't the bandits know that Papa has given land to many of his workers?
Later that day, Esperanza sits alone on the stoop as Señor Rodriguez approaches. He is delivering the papayas Papa ordered for Esperanza's birthday fiesta. He orders them every year. Señor Rodriguez doesn't know what has happened, and as Esperanza tells him the story, grief overcomes him and he is stumped by the news. Everyone was a friend to Papa. Esperanza's uncle approached once again. They have come to inform Mama that because Papa is dead, they now own all the land and everything on it.
Tio Luis suggests that Mama's only solution is to marry him. The family is horrified. This can never happen. Tio Luis is a bad man who cares only about himself and wishes to send Esperanza away to boarding school.
After a fire destroys everything they have, Hortensia, Alfonso, Miguel, Mama, and Esperanza decide to emigrate to the United States. They know the fire was started by Esperanza's uncles to prove that they have power now.
So Esperanza and Mama must run. They will never be free of Tio Luis and Tio Marco if they stay. And Alfonso and Hortensia know they will never be more than servants if they stay.
Alfonso's brother lives and works in California. He can arrange jobs and cabins for everyone. And so they began the long journey to the United States. Their papers are in order, and they bring very little with them. There isn't anything left to bring.
Abuelita, who was injured in the fire, must stay until she recovers. She will live at the convent with her sister. Sadness and anger tingle in Esperanza's stomach as she thinks of that she is leaving friends, her school, Abuelita, and Papa. She feels as if she is leaving him too, and with each step, Papa's land becomes smaller and smaller. But as Mama says, Papa's heart will find us wherever we go.
The train ride is long and difficult. Esperanza can't understand why they haven't boarded the fancy car with the leather seats or the diner car with the white linens. Instead, they are crowded on a car with peasants, and Esperanza complains to Mama that the train is unclean.
One of the peasant girls tries to introduce herself to Esperanza, but Esperanza simply shrugs her off. In Mexico, the peasants kept their distance from her. Now she wonders if they will steal her things.
Later, Miguel tries to talk to Esperanza about trains. He plans to work for the railroad, and he talks endlessly about his excitement and about Papa's promise that he would help him get a job working with trains. Esperanza tries to be excited for him, but she feels too miserable.
When they finally arrive, a campesino family is there waiting for them. It is Juan, Alfonso's brother, and Josefina, his wife, along with her daughter, Isabel.
Isabel eagerly pulls Esperanza aside. Though she is happy and content as a field worker's daughter, she wants to hear all about Esperanza's life as a Mexican princess.
Back at the tiny cabin, Esperanza is shocked to find that they are all sharing one room. She is used to space and luxury and isn't sure how she'll ever get used to this. They all spend time getting to know each other. Esperanza assures Isabel that she is still rich and that she and Mama will only be here until Abuelita is well enough to travel. Then she will come with her money and they will buy a big house.
The men talk about field work and the grueling days ahead of them, while the women talk about the division of duties. Esperanza and Isabel will take care of the housework during the day while the others are working in the fields. Isabel explains to Esperanza the chores they will be responsible for: sweeping, shopping, and preparing food, and making sure the cabin is clean and comfortable when their family comes home from a hard day.
The next day, Isabel is shocked at how little Esperanza knows about housework. Since Esperanza had been raised with servants doing everything for her, she knows little about doing things for herself. She gets frustrated easily. Feeling helpless, Isabel tries to comfort her, telling her that she'll learn quickly.
The work in the fields is exhausting. The sun is unrelenting. There are too many who feel that field workers are paid too little and the working conditions are unfair. These workers are waging a strike and want everyone to join. But most workers need the money too much and are scared that they will lose their jobs. Worse yet, they worry that they will be deported. Sometimes to pass the time in the evenings, the campesinos have joyous fiestas. They prepare food and they dance for hours.
El mariachi loco quiere bailar, el mariachi loco quiere bailar. Quiere bailar el mariachi loco, quiere bailar el mariachi loco. El mariachi loco quiere bailar, el mariachi loco quiere bailar. Quiere bailar el mariachi loco, quiere bailar el mariachi loco.
But every day is the same. Exhausting work, very little pay. Esperanza sees the workers come home from a back-breaking day and wonders what is it all for. Before Papa died, she had hopes and dreams. What was there to hope for now?
One day, Mama becomes very ill. There had been a violent dust storm, and soon after Mama began having terrible coughing attacks. It didn't seem like much, but she came paler and paler, lost her energy, and soon couldn't even get out of bed.
Soon the doctor arrives. There aren't many doctors who will come to the field workers' camp, but the campesinos trust him. After his examination of Mama, he determines that she has valley fever, a disease of the lungs that is caused by dust spores. It is decided that she must be taken to a hospital. No one will be able to visit her, not even Esperanza.
When asked how long it will take for her to get well, the doctor says that it may take a full 6 months before she gets her strength back. The doctors and nurses will have medicines for her and they will work to keep her fever down. It is possible she won't survive.
Esperanza is overcome with sadness. Her mama has been gone over a month now. In only a few months, she has lost her father, her house, her luxurious lifestyle, and now she is separated from her mother. She starts to understand that it isn't a big house or servants that make you rich. All she needs is her family.
Esperanza feels like she has failed Mama in some way and wants to make it up for her. Mama has been strong for her. Now it is her turn to be strong for her Mama. She wants to write to Abuelita to send for her. Surely Abuelita's ankle has healed by now, and the happiness of seeing Abuelita might just make Mama better.
And she wants to work in the fields. She asks Miguel to help. Miguel is worried that she cannot handle the strains of field work, but she desperately wants to make money for her mama. So he agrees to help her find a job, and he will take a letter to the post office for her.
On Esperanza's first day of working in the field, there are pictors protesting working conditions. Esperanza and her family have to push past the angry strikers to get to the field. But they cannot afford to strike and they cannot afford to be deported back to Mexico.
Marta, a young protester, pulls Esperanza aside to explain everything that is happening with the strike. She hopes to convince Esperanza to join the movement. She tells her that since they've been protesting, they have been tossed out of the immigrant workers' camp. But she says they refuse to work under the disgusting conditions and for pitiful wages.
Marta says that there are hundreds of strikers, thousands around the county, and more people joining the cause every day. She tells Esperanza that they are more organized than they appear, that they're going to shut down everything, the fields, the streets, even the railroads.
She explains that if Esperanza doesn't join the protesters, she should be very careful. Marta says that someday Esperanza will understand what they are trying to change. At home, Esperanza has been passing the time by knitting a blanket for her mama. She remembers Abuelita's instructions: 10 stitches up to the top of the mountain, then 9 stitches down to the bottom of the valley. Her fingers are more nimble now, and her stitches are more even. The mountains and the valleys in the blanket are easy. But would she ever escape the valley she was living in? This valley of Mama being sick? What else had Abuelita said? After she had lived many mountains and valleys, they would be together again.
One day, Marta shows up at Esperanza's cabin. There has been a raid on the strikers by government officials. They have come with buses and deporting anyone without proper papers. Esperanza and her family are safe because they have not been protesting, but Marta is in great danger. Esperanza helps her to hide and later escape.
Soon, Esperanza is praying often. She prays for Marta and all the other strikers that have gotten themselves in trouble. She prays that Abuelita is getting well and that she will soon be able to join her. She prays that Miguel will find work on the railroad, but most of all, she prays for Mama. She is surprised at the simple things she misses about Mama. She misses her way of walking into a room graceful and regal. She misses watching her hands crocheting. And most of all, she longs for the sounds of Mama's strong and confident laughter.
The day comes when the doctor says Mama is strong enough to return home. He tells Alfonso, Juan, and Miguel that Mama is improved, but she will need to rest to build up her strength. And finally, she is home. For the first time in 5 months since Mama entered the hospital, Esperanza's heart feels lighter. The family is thrilled to have her home, and as Esperanza hands Mama the blanket she made, Mama tells her how proud she is of all that Esperanza has overcome. Not even a few days later, a miracle happens. Abuelita arrives. She tells of the anger Tío Luis expressed when he found out Esperanza and Mama were gone. She tells of a premonition she had that something was wrong with Mama. She tells of the hopelessness she felt until the day she received a note from Esperanza. And she tells of her determination to escape to California to be with her family.
Soon after, life returns to Esperanza's new normal. As she sits with Isabel, teaching her to knit, Esperanza feels the warmth of the sun washing over her. She imagines rising with the sun, floating up within it. In her imagination, she lets herself be lifted into the sky, knowing that she will not slip away. She knows that she will never lose Papa or El Rancho de las Rosas or Abuelita or Mama, no matter what happens. She soars with anticipation of dreams she never knew she would have, of learning English, of supporting her family, of someday buying a tiny house. Soon her next birthday will be here. She won't have papayas and she won't have Papa to sing to her, but she will have her family and Josefina's famous flan and a whole life to look forward to. In the end, it is no wonder that the Spanish meaning of her name, Esperanza, is hope.